So welcome back to the Decoy Nicoise podcast, where every Friday we do something a bit different. It's not Am I the Antagonist? It's not relationships. It's just whatever's trending on the internet. And today we are covering r/HolUp, because as of today, r/HolUp jumped up 22,000 spots on their top growing community. So obviously they're doing something right and something interesting. So make sure you guys are subscribing down below if you like what you see and the new type of Decoy Noise, whatever we're doing, and you like it. If you want to join, make sure you go in the comment section and let me know that you joined the Decoy Koi Pond and join the conversation, because we're a lot of people just trying to figure out something to do as we're all locked up in our own places and just trying to have a regular hangout. So let's just go and get to the post right now, which is just a lot of r/HolUp, but a lot of r/HolUp is not family friendly, and that's what Decoy Noise is, or Decoy Nicoise. So let me try to filter out all the top posts and just make it so it's something that you can listen to with your parents in the room or your kids in the room or whatever it may be. So the first post was a guy saying, either my friend is really good at Photoshop or Ryan Reynolds broke into my apartment, and it's a photo of Ryan Reynolds holding a teddy bear while his buddy fell asleep or is possibly knocked out. Ryan Reynolds allegedly replied saying, hey, tell the cops it was Photoshop, which seems to be something that Ryan Reynolds would do. So the more I looked into it to try to figure out if this was a genuine post that he made a while ago, I found out that it wasn't, and the only thing he did regarding Photoshop and a fan was a girl named Gabby posted something saying, hey, me and my boyfriend broke up a few days after prom, so I decided to edit the photos a little with Van City Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds' Twitter. So it's just a picture of this girl from her prom, and she just photoshopped Ryan Reynolds in, and then Ryan Reynolds came back and said, hey, we should photoshop me over his current yearbook photo next, and hashtag don't mess with Gabby, which is kind of funny, just the idea he's addressing that, like, you know, she's going through something and just making, shedding some light on it, which, hey, everybody's having a good time. But the funny part about this was the actual boyfriend replied to a post saying, joke's on you, now I'm not going to see Deadpool 2, my $11 is going to see Kevin Hart for real. And yes, it's kind of good that he's having a jib jab with Ryan Reynolds, but I don't think this guy's coming across as well as he thinks he is, because yes, Jeff, you were over there, you know, you're contemplating how to spend your $11 and you're gonna go see a Kevin Hart movie, and your ex-girlfriend now has a direct contact with a big name movie star and is probably in her DMs right now, if not more than the DMs. But let's just keep this G-rated right now and move on to the next post, which is a guy named Dennis Farrell said, imagine being held at gunpoint, bear with me, by a literal animal, and the only hope of rescue is, bear with me, tweeting a coded message. So it's kind of funny that the idea that he's probably being held at gunpoint by a bear, but I mean, it's just kind of funny that it's a coded message that he's putting out, which kind of brings me back to a long time ago. Me and my buddy Decaf, he's a guest on the podcast often, and we always talked about that, hey, we keep each other on speed dial on each other's phones, so in the event something like this happens, where like we're being, you know, held at gunpoint and being robbed someone, we could just auto dial each other, and then from the pocket of our phone just, you know, say, man, I can't believe I'm getting robbed at a liquor store at the corner of Pico and Santa Monica Boulevard by a guy in a red hoodie and black pants, nonetheless, driving a Toyota Corolla. Yeah, I can't believe I'm being, you know, just an idea that we already had a safety measure placed and a way to keep ourselves safe, and it's just kind of funny. This is an extension of that, which makes me feel like I deserve some residuals from this particular post. But let's go ahead and get to the next one, which is a Tinder profile with a girl saying that her name is May, she's 19. She says, this account is run by May's current boyfriend. I want to find her a replacement before I break up with her. Now, kind of messed up, kind of not. I mean, he's doing it the most, I don't want to say humanely, because that makes it seem like it's something else, but the most courteous way before. He doesn't want her to end up sad and lonely and depressed. He just wants to move on, which is, I guess, a favor of his in some way. Okay, so the next post is, when you find an adult film actress that looks like your crush, and he's happy, and he realizes it's actually her, and then he's sad, and then he says it's actually her, and he's actually kind of okay with this, and he's gonna do his adult business regardless of whatever. Which kind of brings me to something else that I was thinking of when I read this originally, was when you have, like, you're dating somebody, like, what's the worst scenario? Like, so if I was dating a girl and she was legitimately like the woman of my dreams, I was just really, really into her, and I was planning on getting married and everything was clicking, and all of a sudden she just abruptly breaks up with me and gets with somebody new, like, right away. Like, what would be the worst alternative? Like, if I found out her new boyfriend was like a replica of me, where he was like a curly haired Korean dude with a kind of a funny voice and just my exact height and build, and I'd be like, wow, so there's something inherently wrong with my personality or who I am as a person. So that sucks. Or would it be worse that she just broke up with me right away and got with a guy that is just the polar opposite of me? Just whatever that would be visually, without trying to get into like specifics. But what would be more damaging to you personally, the viewer? Let me know in the comment section below. That is your challenge of the day, as you are joining the Decoy Noise and you're subscribing as well, is letting me know down below what would be your personal worst if your girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you and the next significant other looked exactly like you. Because then it's like, oh wow, that's a personality defect. That's on me. Or if their next significant other was someone that was just drastically different, like saying, wow, I'm not physically the person she wanted, does that hurt more? I don't really know, but I would be very curious to know what the Decoy Koi Pond thought about that issue. So let's go ahead and get to the next post of HolUp, which was he was winning and I got mad. So he's playing the Uno card game with a chicken, and then the next frame is fried chicken. So the ultimate trump card in that situation, where no matter what, he was probably going to be making some delicious fried chicken nuggets. You don't consider that chicken nuggets? Okay, whatever. I'm getting away from the thing. I haven't had dinner yet, but yeah, that's pretty straightforward. So the next post was, received a text from girlfriend saying she was breaking up with me. Imagine how relieved I was when a couple minutes later she said, sorry, wrong number. And then there's a kid saying, wait a minute. So I do understand why that would be a thing where you'd be like, oh my god, wait, she had another man, she was breaking up. But it did remind me of that other post where it's a popular text where a girl sends a message saying, hey, so guess this isn't the message I guess you want to be getting, but my ex contacted me again on the weekend and came to my work today, and I've decided instead of breaking up, we are going to give each other a second chance and start to date again and see what happens. I really don't know what else to say. And the next reply from the OP is, doing it via group message to all the guys you're talking to, efficient, I guess. And there's 4 people in the group text altogether. And the thing is, I imagine this was a mistake, but at that point in time, does she really care? Like, these are all just dudes that she's just like, okay, look, I was using these people to try to get over my ex. My ex has decided to come back around and just thinks that they can get back with me. Those 2 people deserve each other, so I say no harm, no foul. It is kind of embarrassing for them if they cared, but I doubt it. So the next post was a guy discovering a sword saying, could it be the sword of lies? And the sword says, I am the sword of lies. And then the adventurer says, but wait, that's a paradox. If you really are the sword of lies, then what was the truth? So are you the sword of paradoxes? And the sword says, I'm just a normal sword. I can't talk. And he says, oh right, I have schizophrenia. Which was kind of sad that he's just talking to no one, and which is also another moral question I want to pose to you, because this is not Decoy Noise, this is not a regular meme reading channel, this is Decoy Nicoise. I don't even know what the word Nicoise is, it just has to do with cooking. So the nonsense of Decoy Nicoise is, if you knew you had one of these big mental degeneration diseases, if that's what it is. I know that Alzheimer's is, but if you had one of those diseases, or you were going to get it like hereditarily, would you rather know you were getting it or just let it come? Because I feel like that would be the situation where I wouldn't want to know if I was getting it or not, because it would either, one, make me try to live every day to its fullest, but always having that nagging in the back of my mind, or just make everything seem so meaningless. Like, why even enjoy this thing? Because in 3 years, I'm going to get this thing right here, which is kind of terrible. That's one of those conundrums that I often ponder and waste too much of my good years pondering. So let's go ahead and get to the next post over here saying, I blame cartoon for my taste in girls. So it's a very busty and curvaceous girl from Powerpuff Girls, something from a cartoon I don't remember, the mom from Dexter's Lab, and also Mr. Krabby Patty from SpongeBob, looking thick. So with this poster right here, I do have an opinion on this, because I knew as I was growing up, they kept on criticizing Barbie for being this unreasonable expectation for women. Like, her neck was like 3 times the length of any actual woman's neck, and her body was just too skinny, and she was too tall, and she was like she had, I think, a kid sister or maybe a baby. She had like a perfect little Ken doll husband, but she was like a nurse, an astronaut, an equestrian, a school teacher. She did everything. So it was like, oh my god, it's an unrealistic expectation for women. But I was like, have you seen the action figures for men just lugging all these grenades and guns and just ripped like the Incredible Hulk or like the Street Sharks, if you're that old, where you remember those guys? That was more unrealistic expectation. A girl could perceivably be maybe one 32nd of what Barbie was as far as like her occupation and her build or something. There is no possible way me, Decoy, could ever get to any level of the Street Sharks. I really wish I brought up a Street Shark to show you guys right now, but you can Google search that yourself. It was just insanely buff sharks. I don't know how else to say it. 8-pack and all, but yeah, there's nothing I could do to become a Street Shark. So let's go ahead and get to the next post, which was Rudy Mustang tweeting out saying, "Me, the Eagles won last night. Coworker, oh, did you watch the game? Me, covered in blood and scratches. What game?" So inferring that he was attacked by an eagle, and which is one thing that I would always kind of ponder in like just regular bar talk, like if I'm out with friends drinking and stuff like that. Like, could you imagine if you just bear with me because this is terrible Decoy Nicoise talk, is if you were at a bar or something and you just were talking to a girl, you're chatting up, having a good conversation, and like 3 minutes into it, you know, her boyfriend comes out of the bar and it comes out of the restroom and is like, "Hey, why are you talking to my girl?" and getting all upset. And you're like, "Hey man, simmer down, chill out. He's like, "Nah, this is BS." He leaves. So what would be the worst alternative? You come out there and that guy has like just a bat in his hand, like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess you up right now," or he just calmly has this giant leather glove on his hand. You're like, "What's going on?" And then he just puts his arm out and just this giant condor or falcon or eagle or whatever large talon beast came at you. What would be the worst thing? A giant eagle attacking you or getting beaten to smithereens with a baseball bat? I don't know. Drop in the comments down below. That's the challenge. That's another Decoy Nicoise challenge. What would you rather be attacked by, a large bat or a large eagle? I don't know, and I honestly don't know why I'm even pondering that or giving 2 minutes of my paid podcast to pondering that idea. But the next post was Pikachu, level 20, fighting a Diglett, level 20. Diglett, use scratch, and then a very creepy image of Diglett coming out of the earth with talons, and Pikachu's all terrified, and it's coming from r/meme. So the one thing I always kind of pondered is why, you know, obviously it's a video game, but why in the world would anybody choose like a little mole like Diglett or Pikachu or that guy Hitmonchan that's wearing these little boxing gloves when there are literal dragons, literal like lions that can breathe fire? Like, it's so lopsided. But then here I am pondering something that just doesn't need to be talked about. So the next post was from Breitbart. Horrifying. A mother in Florida is fighting back after she discovered that a likeness of her daughter had been used as a model for an adult toy. Oh my god. So it is a girl, and then they made a adult toy, I guess. I don't even know how to phrase this, as that looks a lot like her daughter, and then the mother casually browsing for adult toys and like, "Oh, look at that." And that's the thing is, so this is just something I have to admit to, is I was going to cover a story about how Instagram is now doing it's like, if there's like a political post, it'll say this post has been flagged for false information. So there was a Reddit post, I swear this is the story. There's a Reddit post talking about this girl who's her name is Yannick Garcia, and she's very curvaceous. And then there was just a funny video of a guy commenting like how he doesn't understand a word she's saying, but he doesn't care because he likes looking at her body, whatever. So when I clicked it, someone like linked her Instagram, clicked that, and then there was one of those posts where I was like, wow, that's crazy. But I was like, I can't cover this story in my Decoy Nicoise Reddit without admitting that I had been just browsing that person's Instagram on the front end, and I was like, dude, there's no way I can cover this. I was like, you're snitching on yourself more than anything. So I was like, you know what, I can't cover that because I'm not willing to admit it. But then here I am admitting it just because this post reminded me of that, and I was just trying to do that. So whatever. Let's just go ahead and get to the next post right now, which is two faces detected. Low light conditions. So it's him and also the face behind him, which was a scary thing. So now that I have all the people from Decoy Nicoise, if you made it this far in the video and you're enjoying the content, let's have a kind of a private conversation of me, the decoy, and the loyal Decoy Koi Pond. I kind of thought that in the background with this whole thing right here, we could kind of play a trick on people that just aren't big fans of Decoy Noise and just do a little bit of like, I don't know, guerrilla marketing or something, where in the background I could probably put the image of like a very scary face back there and maybe move it around a little bit, or maybe do it in post-production where it's just I'm doing regular Decoy Noise podcasts and just there's something watching me, and I just say, yeah, I live alone, there's nobody else here, and then just in the comment section some of the Decoy Koi, the loyal guys, can just be like, hey, look, there's something behind you. Do you know that there's something there? And I'm like, what the heck? And I'll start reviewing it, and then maybe even do a smaller video on like, hey, I don't know what that is. Does anybody know anything about, like, you know, video, like compression or, you know, the codecs and stuff? What would cause a face like that? And as I do another podcast, I'll just throw another face up there and just kind of make it a scary thing and just try to figure out a way to make that like part of the podcast, or where it's just like, or part of the show where it's like, hey, Decoy Noise is being haunted and it's scary as crap. And maybe even like I'll miss a couple episodes and just like create some buzz on the channel, like, yo, what happened to him? What's going on? What was in the background? That might be fun. That might not be. Let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. And, you know, wait, that's not what I'm doing. Hey, let me know if you think that would be a good idea for me to do the podcast. I mean, I'm trying to do different things. Like, as you know, the subscribership has just been really tanking. Like, I was stuck at 2.5k subscribers for the longest time. Finally got to 2.6k subscribers, but it took me like a month to get the extra 1,000, and then probably took me a 4 months to get an additional 100. I don't know what's happening. I'm hearing from different people saying that they're being automatically subscribed to some channels, desubscribed from my channel, notifications really aren't working, so that's all in the air. But I guess all I'm really asking, if you guys do enjoy this type of content, podcasty type of thing I'm doing, making sure that you guys are subscribing down below, and also in the comment section letting me know, hey, I've joined the Decoy Koi pond, so I know that you're kind of in on the inside joke that will be, you know, scariness in the background or something. And then also just sharing it with somebody, letting you know, someone know, hey, there's a fun podcast. It's just this conversation thing. I heard some people say they like to listen to it in the background because they work from home now, or some people saying like, oh, it's like their invisible roommate that I'm just hanging out, because this is just kind of a casual conversation that I hope to make into a bigger thing. It's always fun when there's more commentators. It's always fun when I can do a live stream and there's no more people involved. So if you like that, share with somebody else. But as always, if you made it to the end of the video, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for seeing the celebration screen. If nothing else, just go ahead and put this on autoplay and watch the next episode of Decoy Noise coming up next, or Decoy Nicoise every Friday.